Whenever I'm looking to make a new dish that I've never tried before, I always run across the same problem. There are thousands of recipes online, all a little bit different, half of them claiming to be the best one, and I have no idea which one to try. This can be a big problem for a home chef. How are we supposed to know which one to choose? That's the problem that I wanted to tackle with this series, The Best on the Internet, where I try out the top recipes online and give you a recommendation on which one to use. We're starting this out with blueberry muffins. I baked and tested 5 different blueberry muffin recipes. You can find each one of the recipes in the video description below. The sources I tested were from Paul Hollywood's Easy Bakes YouTube series, Bon Appetit's Best series with a recipe by Rick Martinez, Ina Garten's recipe on Food Network, Jordan Marsh's department store recipe, and on each one of these episodes, I'm going to do the top YouTube result whenever you search for the best of whatever the dish is. The top result on YouTube for a blueberry muffin recipe was by Stay at Home Chef, but that video was based on Jordan Marsh's recipe. So we went with the second highest result, which is by Preppy Kitchen. We got a lot of work to do, so let's get muffin. Paul Hollywood's recipe was very unique in method. He had you massage the butter into the flour and sugar like you're making a pie crust. He also has the lowest sugar to flour ratio of any of these recipes. He then has you add the wet ingredients one by one, mixing the batter with your hands. In classic Paul fashion, the recipe calls for the baker to place the blueberries one by one in each muffin so that you can make sure they all have the same amount. Bon Appetit had some unique ingredients, including the whole wheat flour, yogurt, and freshly grated nutmeg, which are sure to add some depth of flavor. The method was pretty typical, but the oven temp was the highest of all the recipes, which gave some nice caramelization on top. Preppy Kitchen was the only recipe to have a streusel topping, which was very simple. It was also interesting that they call for the blueberries to be coated in flour, which they say is to keep blueberries from sinking to the bottom. There were many wet ingredients in this recipe, including melted butter and oil, which will help to keep the muffins moist. Sour cream was another unique addition to this recipe, and adds a tangy flavor to the batter. I like how the excess streusel topping that was sitting on the pan creates a lacy edge around the top. Ina Garten's recipe was closest to what I would call a classic or standard recipe. She calls for sifting the dry ingredients before adding the wet, which include buttermilk. Buttermilk will add a nice zing. It's also worth noting that her recipe was the only one to call for lemon zest only. The other recipes either called for the zest and juice of a lemon, or none at all. None of the ingredients in the Jordan Marsh's recipe were unique, but it was distinct in 2 ways. First, they call for you to cream the sugar and butter together, similar to a cake recipe. Additionally, they have you break up some of the blueberries to be mixed into the batter, which will add blueberry flavor throughout the muffin. The batter was also the sweetest, with the highest sugar to flour ratio. Alright, that's it. We made it. We got through all 5 recipes. We got Paul Hollywood, Bon Appetit, Preppy Kitchen, Ina Garten, and the Jordan Marshes. Let's go ahead and tuck into these. I'm gonna start with Paul Hollywood's. All right, let's do this. Okay. The texture is pretty dense, like almost like it kind of wants to be a scone, which isn't super surprising. The way the dough came together is very tight, so it's not surprising that it kind of has that quality. It's not off-putting. It's actually really good, but I wouldn't call this like a traditional style muffin, I guess. If you're looking for a blueberry muffin that'll get you all the way to lunchtime, Paul Hollywood. All right, next, Bon Appetit. Rick Martinez, really looking forward to trying this. The top really kind of caramelized because of that really high oven temperature. This is definitely the prettiest muffin of all the muffins. I'm gonna eat it. Wow. You can taste the lemon. Is this the one that had the yogurt? Yeah. That tanginess, the inclusion of the wheat flour, the really dark edges. This is a very, very good muffin. Next, we're gonna do the Preppy Kitchen recipe. This is great because it's the only recipe that we did that has the streusel. Really beautiful crumbly texture. Really excited about this one. Kind of much more light. Let's try it. You love to see this when you bite into a blueberry muffin. The streusel adds a ton of sweetness to it. It almost kind of tastes like a cake donut, actually. In the most respectful way, like they should sell this at Dunkin' Donuts. Like in a good way. It's good. Moving on, the Barefoot Contessa. Muffin itself isn't a huge amount to look at. The more Instagrammable muffins like Bon Appetit, they actually have you place blueberries on top of the muffin. There's only one blueberry on this muffin. There's two on this one on the top, but I assure you there's more goodness in here. Here we go. Since this recipe calls for only lemon zest and not lemon zest and lemon juice, I was expecting a lot less lemon flavor, but it's really present in this muffin. And I think that's just because the acidity of the buttermilk helped to boost the flavor of the lemon from just the zest. Maybe if you added the lemon juice in here as well, it might be like overpowering. It's perfect balance in this one. All right, this muffin, and read a lot about it. If you ever do any blueberry muffin research, Jordan Marsh's is gonna come up. They're out of business now, so if you're gonna open a department store, maybe the thing to be famous for isn't your blueberry muffin, it should be like your clothes or something. You did get a really nice color on the top, even though you weren't going in at that 425 degrees. Yeah, let's try it. Okay, well, so this is definitely the most blueberry-y blueberry muffin of any of the recipes that we tried today. Crushing that small portion of the blueberries and mixing it into the rest of the batter really helps to fuse that blueberry flavor through the whole thing. You know what, this is really good. Okay, I need to stop eating muffins. Oh God. All right, we tried all the muffins. Every single one of them were delicious. They all have their own unique attributes. I was not expecting this one to be it, but I gotta go with Jordan Marsh's department store. I'm shocked, honestly. It's super simple. It's so simple. No lemon zest, no sour cream, no yogurt, no whole wheat flour, just basic blueberry muffin batter and that little trick of mixing in those crushed blueberries into the batter. If you like this type of recipe testing, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Definitely more content like this coming your way. If you have any more suggestions on what other recipe I should be trying out, put it in the comments. That's the end, I guess. I don't know how to end these.